I think Anthony was like, we want you to infuse a little bit of like Yoda in the character. I'm like, okay. Yes. Search for the Soul Stone, you must, yeah.
Without honor. Oops!
Papa angry! Papa angry!
Ready for a hug?
Do not.
Coming in for the hug! I challenge you all to a duel. Pick your weapons. I pick the mine.
Get out of here, Q! No, we are done with random stuff today. We're not dealing with any of your Q bullshit.
No, we need another power source. Hey, if we could miniaturize an arc reactor... No, that's a dumb idea.
This Organized Chaos podcast is brought to you by JEMS Art Studio. JEMS Art Studio is an online store that allows access to prints that you can use for most anything, obviously as just a picture, or as a wallpaper, or as a bookmark, or anything you can think of. You can find JEMS Art Studio at etsy.com/shop/JEMS Art Studio. This podcast is also brought to you by listeners like you. Thank you. But we did you did bring up puppets earlier. So yes, clearly we are going to talk about Lower Decks and...
Yes, we're going to talk about the 1990s comic book movie.
Yes.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Yes.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Rewatching this. Well, do you want to go into a little bit of the comic books before we start, or do you just want to talk about the film?
Oh, yeah, no, I can go ahead and talk about well, you know the story. It's not actually even a very deep story, but I do want to kind of hit on, because I actually have, it's over there, I'm not going to dig it out right now. I have Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles graphic novel, Volume 4. It's old. It's from my childhood. I want to say, I don't know the year it was released, but it was definitely from the era when the comic books were, not all the Turtles wore red, and there weren't really distinctive personalities, which was a failing of the comic books, but they were also a lot fucking darker.
Yeah, and this is before they had that craving for pizza all the time.
Yes. But, let me know if this sounds familiar. That graphic novel is about Leonardo. He's on a rooftop. He's suddenly attacked by a whole bunch of Foot Clan.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, a whole bunch of turtles...
I mean, it kind of sounds familiar, but yes.
They're getting ready for their Christmas celebration at April's apartment. And they're just kind of hanging out, having fun, having all these little things going on. Meanwhile, It's cutting between this and Leonardo fighting for his life, trying to get away from the Foot Clan. Sometimes he gets a leg up on them. Most of the time, he doesn't. Most of the time, they get a leg up on him and start beating the crap out of him.
Yeah, kind of familiar.
Eventually, Leonardo's thrown through a window, and there's all the other turtles, April and Splinter, and they get into this huge fight at April's apartment, which eventually breaks down into this antique shop down below, where they continue fighting. A fire gets set, and then they escape to April's cabin, and the rest of the graphic novel is spent at April's cabin. Does that sound familiar at all?
Now, this antique shop, did April own said antique shop?
I'm pretty sure. I don't recall it being mentioned.
Okay, then, yeah, it kind of sounds familiar. There's some stuff that...
Yeah, there are details that are wrong, but man, it's like right there. It's obvious.
It's as if they actually pulled. It's actually as if they used the source material as the foundation for this. And that's what I think makes it great today still.
Yeah, I have issues with this movie, kind of mainly on the technical side.
Yeah.
But I don't want to bash on that too much because for the time period it was fucking amazing. You know?
I mean, for 1990, those animatronic suits, those are actual people in those suits doing all that. That is incredible for 1990.
Yes.
And when was it they filmed this? Like, it was between 80s, I want to say
It had to be
80s.
the late 80s sometime.
Like, yeah. And yeah, that's still very impressive that these stunt guys are just, they're rock stars.
Yes. Well, I'll go ahead and just tell you what is kind of great about this movie. This movie takes the personalities of the Turtles from the cartoon, except it goes ahead and it adds the rebellious personality to Raphael, because I don't recall that before this movie. This
he was just kind of hard-headed in the cartoon, if I remember.
Yeah, he's kind of like, he's just very similar to Michelangelo, because kind of like one of the dudes, as I recall.
Yeah.
Not quite the same, but here he's like full-fledged rebel.
Yeah, here he is just like, I don't give a damn.
Yes. And honestly, this is the movie where kind of Raphael kind of took off. Like, he's a lot of people's favorite turtle now, and yeah,
because of this movie.
Yes, it was because of this movie where they did that.
Yeah, and yeah.
Him
and Donnie. It's a tie between him and Donnie, really.
Yeah, it's Donnie for me, but I will say this: Donnie in this movie doesn't really get much of a chance to shine, other than they got the stunt casting
Feldman
for him. Yeah, I was about ready to say the stunt casting with Corey Feldman for his voice.
And this is it this one or the second one where it's actually Corey in the suit?
Oh, I don't know if Corey was ever in the suit.
I mean, I'm sure he was for a photo, but
yeah, probably.
Actually, I don't mean that. I have nothing against the guy.
Yeah.
He's I don't mean to take
I have nothing against him. Maybe we'll just leave it at that. He might be a little. He's a little out there, though.
He's definitely given it his all for his music career. I'll say that.
Yes.
I mean,
is again, that what that is?
Yeah. Oh.
I mean, it's a hell of a thing to watch.
He's doing a lot better than what he could be.
Yeah, it's one of those things where I don't want to be too harsh on him. He's happy, man. I mean,
and if memory serves me correctly, I believe he is sober and has been for a while now.
Well, that's excellent.
Yeah, and I can't imagine being thrusted the way he was so young into like the spotlight, and so for as so many of those people unfortunately turn out, he's doing great right now.
Yeah.
As horrible as that may sound, I don't mean it that way.
He's a character.
He is a character, indeed.
So
he doesn't. But the character Donnie, you're right. He really doesn't shine that much in this film. He's kind of more of an extension of Michelangelo.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, there's lots of butting around between him and Michelangelo, which was really kind of Raph's role in the cartoon.
Yeah, because in the cartoon, Leo was more kind of like Raph, stubborn and just like, go, we should just attack. And Donnie was more like, well, there's a logical way we could do this.
Yeah.
Let's use our own tech against them.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. Like, I feel like the creators like, okay, we can give you turtle suits. They're going to work pretty well, but we are not giving Donatello gadgets, goddammit.
No, we're going to wait until we turn him into, another day.
Yeah, well, yeah.
I mean,
I'm going to assume you're going for the Michael Bay ones there, but yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Those ones are good. I mean, they're great Turtles movies, just the Turtles themselves kind of look like shit.
Yeah. Yeah, there's stuff to be said about
they're
those
great
movies.
Turtles movies. They just,
well, I think
just look like shit.
Yeah.
It's distracting for me.
1990 is a Turtles movie is so much better.
Way better Turtles movie.
Oh yes.
Still in 2021.
Yes.
A movie that thoroughly entertained me countless times as a small kid. Entertained me as an adult. And there's a lot of it like I picked up on it that I don't even remember from the last time I watched this, which was probably 4 or 5 years ago, I'd say.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, and I didn't remember this from like the 4 or 5. I don't remember the score being just so fucking awesome.
That's right. I meant to actually see if that was on Spotify because I wanted to actually just like listen to it because That
some of it
score
that's
is
just,
actually really fucking
holy
good.
crap.
Yeah.
Especially the stuff when they're in the country. All of that is just like, wow, this is just fucking moving.
Yeah.
This is a Turtles movie.
Yeah. No, I don't. Actually, it might be on here. Score. The score was really fucking good, though. I don't think it's on here.
And then in the sequel, you know, we get Ninja Rap.
Oh, we're not there yet.
I actually did learn how to play it on the bass, and the fact that it's about 3 separate notes, I decided that I'm not going to be having it plugged in and play it when I say that.
Yeah.
So I just, boom, that was a sight gag that I spoiled there.
Yeah.
I was going to do that, but then I saw, like, wait, that's the whole song.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not worth it to have a bass on me this whole time just to wait until I say that.
Yeah, my brain's mush. Yes, but what my previous point, like I'm talking about how we get the character. We're supposed to be chatting.
Yeah, we are.
We're chatting. But yes, this is like you get the Turtles' personality from the cartoon, and you mix it essentially with the darker stories from the comic book, and that is kind of a brilliant fucking mix. It's probably the best interpretation of the Turtles ever, save maybe Donatello. But
yeah, minus that, and it touches like with the family aspect, which is always very heavy throughout. Like it was heavy throughout a lot of the graphic novels. I'm not that familiar with the comics, but I have read a small chunk of them.
Mm-hmm.
Like I had read the one that you were talking about.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that sounds familiar.
Yeah,
kind of a weird way, but also vaguely familiar.
Yeah.
And I also had one that was done in a similar style, but pretty much it was the graphic novelization of the second film.
Ooh.
But not as campy.
Mm.
This one was a little bit more violent. Same story.
Well, yeah, I remember that was part of the issue with the second one. Like, I'm trying to remember.
Yeah.
I don't even recall them ever using their weapons in that one, which was just like...
They had them.
Yes, they did have them, but...
First, but Mikey always had the nunchucks in both hands, and I think he used yo-yos instead.
That's right, there was a yo-yo thing.
Scene is like one of the only times that they use the weapons at all. And in the third one, they hardly even do any real fighting at all. It's all the human people, if I remember correctly. I don't really remember.
I have a confession. I've still to this day never seen the third one. I've never sat down and watched it.
Well, have you ever watched the live action Turtles series?
No.
With the girl turtle.
Yeah, the girl turtle. The turtle.
I believe her name was Venus.
Oh.
Yeah,
God.
yeah, Venus with the boobs.
Yes.
With the turtle shell boobs.
Yeah, that's hot, guys. It's great.
In the half shell.
Oh baby.
I don't mean to sound misogynistic. But
yeah,
well, no,
they gave her boobs, and
they gave her boobs. Yeah,
I hate to tell them this, but humans are the only species where females have boobs all the time. Other races don't do that. Yeah. So why does this turtle have boobs?
Well, I mean, now you're just breaking history of years of Warner Brothers and Walt Disney style animation.
Yeah,
because there was at one point Goofy did have a counterpart, but they just decided, no, fuck Goofy, he doesn't deserve a wife, and we've never seen her. And there's a kid now.
Yeah, he's a single father.
Yeah, I think since we were probably kids is when his kids started showing up in the Disneyverse.
Yeah.
That was about the time, what, Loop Troop movie was 90s? Mid-90s, early 90s?
Yeah. God,
Michael Jackson and Prince were still super relevant, and Pauly Shore, so I'm going to say early 90s.
How dare you say that? Pauly Shore is forever relevant.
Oh, no. And the most underappreciated comedy of the early 2000s is Pauly Shore is Dead.
I've actually not seen it, but yeah, you're gonna hit on all the stuff I haven't seen yet. Although, yeah, Turtles 3 was kind of obvious.
yeah, Turtles 3 is just absolute shit.
Well, it looks so bad. But
well, they evolved the characters throughout all of them, and they kind of just they always kind of said it was like the Batman suits, like they kind of improved them with each movie. But no, the way they looked in the first one was the best.
Yeah,
they will ever look on film.
Well, yeah,
and one thing I found really great about this, and this is something I noticed a lot more watching it, and maybe it's just because I've kind of done some more study on film and photography, and movies and film and all that, and I noticed like the use of shadows in this. It's done well and it helps tell the story, but there's a point when they just transition out of it as they reveal more, or as like we the audience get to see more and more of the turtles. They use less and less of it, but the lighting is still pretty much the same throughout the whole film. It's something like little stuff like that, things that build to the environment. Like I don't think there's only a few scenes of New York City during the day.
Yeah, no, it's almost all at night, which
it's almost all at night. Yeah.
Which I'm not gonna lie, I imagine it's also kind of a cheat to help cover up any of the seams in the costume. Which, that's obviously that there's nothing wrong with that, because these costumes look absolutely amazing. And in fact, I would even say it's kind of frustrating, because I'd say one of my issues with the movie is a lot of the fight scenes, you can tell they have limited movement. They'll be set up to only be able to do a certain move at the time.
Somebody has their leg up and they're going to spin them around.
Yes. And it's for the time it was great. But it is one of those things where it's like, man, wouldn't it be great if they could I want these suits as much as possible, but wherever there's a little bit lacking, do a little bit of CGI. And I feel like too often it's either all one way or all the other. And it's like, no, do these suits and then just enhance with CGI. Don't replace with CGI, for fuck's sake.
Yeah, don't. Just if you can, enhance with it.
Yes,
or if you can get it better practical, go all practical and go all in with practical.
Yes, exactly.
That's no, I'm sorry. Yeah, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, if you have to CGI an arm to do a move, fine, but don't CGI the whole fucking turtle. I don't feel like it's asking that much. I don't know.
And they don't. I guess this is also going to be another dig I have against the Michael Bay version of it, is that they have personalities for a reason, and it's mostly that they don't need accessories with each one.
No,
I can tell which one it is. That's why they got the color bandanas and the different weapons. But
no, they need accessories, dude. They need accessories.
I guess. That's something I kind of hated about the character design, because when I saw that, I was like, oh, you mean it's like whenever they would release those whack line of Turtles toys, and they have all this shit from and then it's all the shit you never see.
Yeah, all the extra toys movie, and shit you could attach to it.
Shit, or they say it's going to be in the movie, and it's shit you never see in the movie.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That always made me mad as a kid.
Well, to what it's worth, I've seen both the Michael Bay movies, and I couldn't tell you shit about them. I remember they had Bebop and Rocksteady in the second one.
And Crane was in there.
Yes. And there was a Skybeam in the first one.
Yeah. It was cool to finally see Crane.
Yeah.
Him, I'm not surprised he was CGI. It would have been real cool if they tried to make him practical. They could have called the BBC. They do some great practical effects.
I'm trying to remember.
Doctor Who.
How'd they do Shredder? Was Shredder CGI, or was he just a dude?
He was just a guy.
Was he? God, I
don't remember just a man.
He was just at all.
Well, I know the first one, they let it up the whole time like it's going to be William Finchner, and you'd think it would be William Finchner, the way that they framed all the trailers, the way that they set up his character in the beginning of that movie. The whole time you're thinking, okay, cool. William Finchner's the bad guy. Awesome. And then the real Shredder kills him, and it's like, oh. Cool, but...
Well,
why did we just go through all that?
The story behind that is that was William Finchner.
It was. Yeah.
It was, But they got the bad press, so they changed it really quickly with reshoots. And so that's why it's the way it is.
And they didn't... Okay.
You know, rather than go with what would be the logical story, they decided to listen to fans, which is like, guys...
Fair.
No.
I get it, and especially in, the day.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, you gotta let somebody have a little bit of leadway. You gotta loosen that leash a little bit. You gotta let a creator be creative and tell their story.
Yes. And I don't know, I'll be honest, I don't really remember that movie well, because I didn't remember that plot aspect until you brought up. So I don't know if changing it really ruins it. But
debatable, I'm sure.
Yeah, it probably wouldn't have made it better, but...
Well, no, I don't think it would have made it better, but I mean, he is a good actor.
Oh, yeah, no, he was...
I mean, I really enjoyed him in Equilibrium.
Mm-hmm.
He's pretty much great in almost anything he's in.
Mm-hmm.
I can't think of a bad movie he's ever been in.
Well, speaking of actors, I have to ask you, did you recognize this guy?
Yeah, that's fucking Billy the Kid, Mr. Sam Rockwell himself.
Yes. Sam Rockwell plays
but Justin Hammer,
yes.
A young baby-faced. Look at that peach
I want to say... God, I meant to look it up. I want to say he was like 18 when he did this or something like that.
I want to say I've read that, and I read that he had gotten the part, just his agent just told him to show up.
Yeah.
You don't know what you'll get, and he originally was just supposed to be a background character, but the actor who had to say that line wasn't there.
Mm-hmm.
And they just kind of pulled like through the extras, like, "Hey, anybody want to say this?" "Yeah, I do."
But yeah,
that is what I understand.
Yeah, no, it's just, it's like a cool little Easter egg. I mean, nobody knew, but yeah, he's cast. His name in this movie is Head Thug.
Yeah, and what's funny is I think when I rewatched it like 4 or 5 years ago, I was watching it and I heard that voice. Like, why does that voice sound so? Because I had watched Moon recently.
Oh yeah.
So I was just like, why does that sound so fucking? Oh my god, it's Sam Rockwell.
Yep. So he
Look
was
at that baby face.
Probably 21 when he filmed this. It was.
Yeah.
He might have been 20. Actually, he was 21 when this came out, so he might have been 20 when he filmed it. But yeah.
Maybe 19 when he filmed it.
Jesus Christ, he was so young. He's Head Thug. Such a huge role. He's actually in a lot of the Foot Clan scenes, and he's largely the forefront.
He is.
Yeah.
He is.
There's even a scene where it's the Shredder, and he's like you have a couple of the Foot Clan members in the background, and he's like center of them, out of focus, but you can still clearly recognize him.
You can still tell it's him there.
Yes, very much so. Yeah, and I'm not. It's not like, oh wow, he really made the movie, because he's not in it really. But
he's not. He's featured.
It's a really cool little fucking Easter egg. Just obviously unintended. It's an Easter egg that generated later, because like, holy fuck, it's Sam Rockwell.
Well, yeah, and watching this, it made me want to go back and watch some older movies that would have came out in this like early 80s, late 70s, before a lot of the actors that we're very much familiar with and that are well established now. I watched the first Death Wish movie starring Charles Bronson, right?
Okay.
Just real quick synopsis. Some street thugs attack Charles Bronson's wife and daughter, and kills his wife and leaves his daughter traumatized. He decides to become a vigilante killer and trying to kill the guys who do it. He doesn't find them, but he goes out and takes care of other street thugs in New York City in the late 70s.
Mm-hmm.
So he's just pretty much cleaning the streets. All right. One of the thugs that originally attacks his wife and daughter is Jeff Goldblum.
Oh my god.
Very super young Jeff Goldblum. And I mean, there's some scenes. There used to be a GIF floating online, and I cannot find it anymore. But it's a scene when they're in the grocery store where they're they're stealing some food and they're staring at the couple, and he is just doing gross things with his tongue towards the mom and daughter. And that is what the GIF is of him just doing that with his tongue over and over. But it's also Jeff Goldblum doing it. It's kind of the perfect gift.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
I kind of dig that.
And in the second one, babyface Lawrence Fishburne is in it. Plays a member of a gang who they clearly didn't get a message from any gangs in New York, so Charles Bronson moves his daughter out to Los Angeles. Unfortunately, the same thing happens.
Of course.
This time, one of the gang members is a young Lawrence Fishburne, but he goes by a Larry Fishburne.
Yes, yeah. We have a couple early movies where he's Larry Fishburne. I know he's Larry Fishburne in Class Action. I know there's other stuff. I'm brain farting, but yeah, Larry Fishburne.
But just because of this, and you see a lot of these young actors in some of these kind of weird and wouldn't expect it movies. And that's something that, well, I'm sure it always happens because, young actors will get whatever work they can.
Just a side note, if you haven't YouTubed it yet, everybody just needs to YouTube the interview where a newscaster congratulates Samuel L. Jackson on the great job he did on The Matrix. Oh, he goes off on him, and it's great. It's one of those things where it's like, what the fuck? But yeah, Ninja Turtles is really good. It's not, like I said, I think my biggest issues are a lot of the technical aspects, which I don't want to get too harsh on, because at the time period, oh my God, this is so good. It just... Oh, but
Sorry, my best man texted me.
Okay. Well, I'm going to segue into another technical aspect that you actually shared with me that I didn't see.
Okay. Nightmare Fuel?
A little bit Nightmare Fuel. So, let's see. Uh-oh. I moved in here, didn't I? Yes, I did. Okay, yeah, it's one of these guys. It is... Oh boy. So right now we are looking at is that Donatello? Sometimes the colors get off on the picture. But yeah, there we got Donatello with a face in his mouth. That is not terrifying at all. No, everybody's gonna, if you watch the video, you're gonna be sleeping so well tonight, because that is not Donatello, as we all know, famously from Turtles lore, eats people, and he's in the middle of eating a person at this point, and you just kind of see his face in there. He's hungry. He needs to eat. You can't judge him. You cannot judge him for that, and it's delicious. No, but actually speaking of the technical aspects, it's been a while since I did the research, but to my understanding, we have the guys in these suits, and the way they actually saw out the suits was not through the eye holes, but through the mouth. And what we're seeing is just the seams of that. They're opening the mouth too wide. They're not, clearing it out properly. And we're essentially just seeing some dude's fucking face in there. Just as he is eaten by the turtle.
Well, you see, some could just think that he's trying to operate the mouthpiece, but in reality, what that man is doing is, can we go in on that? Close up. See, he is screaming for help there.
Let me go!
Help me! Start the reactor.
Start the reactor, Quaid. Oh, yeah, that's something, I'm not gonna lie, I didn't notice it, and Bobby brought it up to me right before the podcast, and I was just like,
I was like, yeah, the nightmare fuel shot. And
oh
you're like,
my God, that thing is intense.
It's just ironically, that was my reaction when I read your text, like, what nightmare fuel shot? What? I'll pull it right now.
No, I don't even...
I thought you would at least know what I'm talking about immediately.
Well, oh yeah. I do want to talk about a fight scene that in this movie that I thought was kind of lazy. And this one I thought was actually kind of unforgivably lazy. And it's the fight scene between Casey Jones and the second leader of the Foot Clan, that extra guy.
Tatsu, I think?
Yes.
Yeah, Tatsu.
No, essentially the fight is Tatsu's kicking around Casey. Casey, for some reason, can't block him at all and just gets hit by him every time. Until he sees a golf club and hits him.
Kicked.
Yes, and he sees a golf club, knocks him out with it. It feels very lazy, and it feels like this is like the best opportunity in this movie for a really solid fight scene. And they don't do anything with it. Probably because all the budget's going towards the costumes and making them look like nightmare fuel. Like,
well, the actor who played Casey, he was good for the role.
Yeah,
so
yeah,
much so
he was
they
great.
Invited him back for the third film.
Yeah, him and
Don't know why he wasn't in the second one.
Yeah, well, he wasn't in the second. Well, he wasn't the only one.
April,
I'm brain farting. Donnie.
It was a different
Donnie
April.
Feldman.
Yeah, or Corey.
Corey, God, that Donatello. That's why I couldn't come up with it.
Donatello, Corey Feldman.
Sleep is good, people. But Corey Feldman, yeah, he was the same way. He skipped the second. He skipped the second one as well. He voiced him here, and then he voiced him in the third one. Why are they coming back for the third one of all movies? I mean, holy shit. Who wants to act opposite David Warner?
Well, I mean, he was the best part of the third one. That guy was just so over the top British evil man. Like, it was kind of beautiful.
But okay.
Oh yes, Casey.
Yeah, Casey. I did want to bring up this because I'm watching it and I'm like, wow. So Shredder falls into a trash compactor, and Casey goes, "Oops," and crushes him. And it's like, wow, what family fun
for the kids.
Yes, and it's like,
don't forget your coupon for Pizza Hut pizza.
Yeah, there's a morbid part of me that really likes it, and there's also a part of me that's man, what? That's a bit much in the kids' movie. But,
I'll still chuckle.
Yeah.
I'll still chuckle at that every time.
No, it's like, oof.
And what's weird is I kind of remember chuckling about it as a kid too.
I know. Haha, he accidentally crushed a man to death.
He said, "Whoops!" He didn't mean to.
Yeah.
He meant to. And now
he totally did it on purpose.
The hell is wrong with my little ass? I was a fucked up kid.
And it's also worth noting. Always drove me nuts how the Turtles never attack Shredder like at least 2-on-1 or something. It's all 1-on-1. Again, technical limitations of the costumes. But
well, but that's also like in any martial arts movie, that they attack. They all go to the school of attacking at one at a time.
Yeah, quick, let's split up. They can't get us as bad that way.
Quick, let us all face him. Fair is fair, There is the code.
We have to stand in line, guys.
We have the code now. The code must be upheld.
Yes, but yeah, overall, this movie holds up. I'd say a lot.
Well.
It aged way better than X-Men, and it's 10 years older.
Oh yes.
Oh yeah. Yeah. This is a good one. You have any final thoughts on it?
No, just it was definitely something that was still kind of safe territory, I feel, in Hollywood or for a film at this time. But this is one that really kind of more people thought the film was coming about because of the popularity of the kids' show. And the only reason why it was on our television sets as kids is because of the popularity of the comic books. So it's kind of something that has its origins in comic books, but now is more well known than it was, I would say, at the time, unless for people who were in the know.
Yeah, no, I remember at that time Turtles was fucking everywhere. And
everywhere.
Turtle Mania we were deep in it. And I was in it too.
I recall going to the Rock concert as a kid.
Ooh, I didn't do that one.
I also went to the Power Ranger one.
Oof.
That one was regrettable now. I've apologized to my dad.
Yeah. Well, hey, I didn't apologize for forcing my parents to this movie because this is a good one.
What we got next?
I want to go ahead and add some audio credits at the end here. The theme music you're hearing at the beginning and end of this podcast was written and performed by George Johnson, a very good friend of mine. And my current Patreons are Fel Martins, David Lara, and Lindsay Pankhurst. If you'd like to become a patron, go ahead and follow the link down below. Anything you can provide would be incredibly helpful to this channel. We're barely limping by right now. I'd love to make this my full-time job, but I'm miles away from that right now. So any help you could provide, just $1 a month would be amazing. You know you want to. All your friends are doing it.